Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back again with another episode. This is episode 5, correct? This is Coffee with Jenni and Dre. And I'm Dre, and this is my beautiful, beautiful co-host.
I'm here. We're here.
And, you know, speaking of coffee, we're featuring a coffee today.
We are. We're going to talk about some coffee finally.
We're definitely going to talk about some coffee.
Yeah. So I went to, what we're drinking right now is from Tanzania. It is a pea berry. Never knew about this, but I'm learning about coffee even more. So, local spot in Austin. It's fair trade, organic. It is Coffee Traders in Austin. It's downtown. Mm-hmm. She told me this was her favorite one, so she wanted
Let me take a sip of this real quick.
Yeah,
Let me see what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, hey, and also look at this nice mug.
That's a nice mug you got there.
It says "fuck them kids."
It does.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something that I learned though about coffees. So she showed me like the different beans. They roast there. It's a really cool spot. So the pea berry is more fruit forward in coffee. And I'm like, okay, I like that. So if the actual coffee bean has a line down the middle, if it kind of splits open, it's a pea berry. That's how she explained it to me. Yeah. And then that would be more of a fruity coffee. If it's not and it's closed, that's more of like your smoky, chocolatey notes. Cool. Which I think the Brazil is that, but we'll try that a different day. And then the Yemen is like in between. So we'll talk about those. But yeah,
awesome. And that's just a local company here in Austin. We're going to be trying to feature a local company every week on a podcast to give y'all a little something to try, to drink, and do anything like that.
It's really good.
And this episode is episode 5, like I said. Yeah. This episode is going to be a lot of questions that were asked, comments that were made, things that people wanted us to address. We're going to be talking a lot about relationships, just between how we run things in our house, and just how questions that people just really had wanted our opinions about. We're not saying that we are a marriage counseling crew. We're not therapists. We're none of those things. But one topic that people did want us to discuss is 50-50. What that means and how that works in everybody's household. What does a 50-50 relationship mean, and how do people, handle their 50-50 arrangement? I think with Jenni and I think that 50-50 for us is a lot different than 50-50 for a lot of people. Because I think I grew up with my father doing all the work. My mom stayed at home with the kids. She cooked, cleaned, did everything as a traditional mother would do, and my father took care of all the financial responsibilities. And they were married for 40-something years till my father passed away. So I try to run my house in that same traditional household. I feel like me personally, like the man should take care of everything. So in my house, I take care of all financial responsibilities. Not saying that my wife can't take care of any responsibilities, but I take care of all the major responsibilities of finances that goes on in the house. I would rather her not work, but she does choose to work, and that's her thing. She needs to keep her mental going on, because she needs to not have to be able to just talk to kids all day and feel like she has a mom brain all day. So she needs to work to keep her brain sharp and keep her sharp. So as far as financially, I take on the helm of that. Right. Yeah. So when you're speaking 50-50, I think that it's a bunch of things that break down the 50-50. Just because I'm paying all the bills and making all the money and doing all that doesn't mean that her 50% that she's putting in with the kids and all that is not equal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely, it's about working together and making a household work. And that includes bills, and it includes keeping the house together and the kids going. And so, yeah, I guess that's what the 50-50 means in a relationship. You're putting in 50 and I'm putting in 50, but my 50 isn't necessarily financially. My 50 is cooking and cleaning and kids and bathing and hair and doctor's appointments and to school and from school and gymnastics and all the things that goes on that end. Yes. But also we're like involved in different ways with that. Cause I mean, that doesn't mean that you don't help out at all in the house. I mean,
sure.
because you're still helping out in the house. But I think it
And
goes
I'm
back
OCD
to like,
anyway, so cleaning is what I do anyway.
yeah, but
so
then that turns into a problem because I can clean the whole kitchen and then he'll come home and be like, ooh, that's going to bother you. He'll come home and want to clean over me. So, you know, it's one of those things that we deal with, but it is what it is.
yeah, I mean, you just gotta. I mean, I just like my stuff a certain way, organized a certain way. So of course, sometimes if it's not the right way that I like it, I don't have a problem going back behind somebody and making it the way that I typically like my stuff to be done. But she does a good job. I mean, I don't really have to do much stuff about. I mean, she's great at cleaning. She's great at cooking. She's great at just being a mother. And I feel like in those 50-50 relationship wise, I feel like the man has to be able to allow her to feel like she can be a woman at home and not have to, worry about all the stress of the bills and worry about those type of things. And in some households you have to where mom and dad have to work. But I just feel that I'd rather her be at home, be able to take care of the kids, be able to cook, clean, and when things arise with the kids, her to be able to take care of it and not have to worry about work and how she's going to take off and how she's going to do this. And she don't have to worry about paying a bill.
Mean, and it's very interesting with the parents that do both parents work full time. I mean, when stuff happens, like your kids get sick or whatever, I mean, one always has to take off or, like that to me is super stressful. And, it's amazing how you can do that too, because
how people navigate that.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Cause I know that can be very stressful or like today our kids don't have school. So you have to find and figure out how you make things work if you do have to go into work, because you can't just say, sorry, my kids don't have school today, so I'm not going to be there. Yeah. I mean, there's things that you have to navigate to figure out when you are both working full time, which makes it difficult. So,
and I'm big on, so just like with school, I'm real big on like spending as much time with the kids as possible. And, she's more, for the example, I mean, like, I think that, and when you break it down, kids go to school, they get up at, our kids get up at 6:30 by themselves. They set their own alarm clock. But when I get up to take them to school, they've already had made breakfast and ate it. They've already packed their lunches already. Our kids are already straight. They packed their lunches. They're already ready to go. All they're just waiting on me to do is get in the car and take them to school. But they go to school for 6-7 hours of the day. After they get out of school,
like 8 hours a day.
Okay, they go to school for 6 to 8 hours a day. After they get out of school, let's say it's 3:20, 3:30, they come home, they eat a little bullshit snack, get some water, put their gymnastics clothes on. Then they go to gymnastics from 4 to 6. After they come home from 4 to 6, they eat dinner. That's going to take to about 7 o'clock. After they take baths and wind themselves down, it's time to go to bed. So parents don't really get to spend as much time with their kids as they used to back in the day when it was only one parent working and mom would stay at home with the kids a lot and do all that. Because I'm just real big whenever the babies were born, I want my wife to be at home with the kids to give them that first few years of being with their mom and being acclimated into life and all those type of things. But parents are not spending as much time with, and I'm not saying it's parents' fault, but parents are not spending that much time with their kids as they used to because they're school activities and then home, eat, bed, routine over again. And I wish that we can get back to parents spending more time in school.
It's the fast-paced world that we live in now. Yeah. Everything is go, 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 go. And I know that there's a study out there that says even something as small as if you eat dinner together as a family, if you sit down and have dinner together, the likelihood of it's like anxiety, stress, depression, all of those go drastically down for your children if you just sit at the table together at night. Yeah. Like that is wild to me that study's out there, and we should find it and really read what it is. But I know, it just shows that your kids want that attention and they want your put your phones down. They want you to talk to them and to look at them and make them put their phones down. And
because weekends are really like the most time that you do get to spend with your kids because they're at school during the week. So weekends, of course, if there's no football games or no soccer games or gymnastics things that you got to take your kids to, that's the time that you really get to spend the most time with your kids. So balancing that 50-50 and with the kids and, how everybody balances, because, it's financial. It's who's spending the most time with the kids. It's house duties. It's a lot of things that break down that 50-50. And with talking with my, a couple of my friends, they work things out totally different in their relationship. So whatever works for y'all in your 50-50, don't let anybody tell y'all that it's not right or it's wrong. If it works for y'all and y'all dynamics works that way, I think that y'all should stick with it if it's working. But as far as how we go, we do our 50-50 based on her, spending a majority of the time with the kids and doing a lot of stuff with the kids, and me working and providing everything for the family. And she would never have to worry about providing. She's straight for forever. Right. So that was one thing that people were asking about, how we do with our 50-50 stuff and how our dynamics work with that. Another thing they wanted to know about is how we do with date night. So we get our date night in once a week. Like that's just what it is. We're lucky to have a older daughter that stays with us, Jayla. Yeah. She's 19, so she gives us the ability to be able to hit this date night weekly. Once a week, we try to do that. I think it's just like
really important for a relationship.
Yeah.
To really make that a priority.
Got to.
Because it's so easy, like we just said, to get caught up in your everyday routine where nothing changes. You go home and just hustle and bustle, and you never take time for your marriage.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we've always said is, and we might get backlash for this, I don't know, but like what comes first in this marriage is our marriage
first,
and then our children.
Facts.
And it's very easy to start putting your kids first.
Yeah.
And when that happens, if we are not strong and we are not connected, we cannot be there for our children the way that we need to be.
Yeah. If they don't see the love between us, they're not even going to know how to do their thing. So we always put ourselves first, and our emotions and our feelings and how we're going about our day first. And then, the kids come after that.
But let's not get it wrong. They get lots of attention and lots of love.
Yeah.
But just how we see it is, if me and him are off, they are going to sense it and they are going to feel it. Mm-hmm. And they know it. They know. Kids are so smart. They know exactly what's going on. But
back to date night. Fuck them kids. Back to date night.
Right.
So you got to make sure that you are getting those date nights in. If you're in a relationship, I think it's super important to have those date nights. It don't have to be an expensive date night.
No.
You don't have to be.
Go to the movies. We did that the other night. We just went to the movies.
Went to the movies. Saw a good movie. You can go to the movies. You don't have to be dinner. It can just be anything. Just have y'all two together.
Anything.
Definitely. Anything like that. But fellas, side note real quick.
Oh, God.
Make sure that you secure the bag first sometimes, because what I mean by securing the bag first, meaning that you're already in a relationship. I mean, like sometimes before you go on date night, you got to make sure you beat the cheeks first. Only because in my case, my situation, I'm not speaking on everybody's, but beat the cheeks first, because sometimes, 80% of the time we go on date night having a good time. She get a few little wines in her and shit. She feeling good. She's all hyped up and shit. I'm thinking, oh yeah, when we get home, it's going down. Like it's going to be a night to remember type of deal. We get to the crib. She takes off her clothes and puts on her sweats and shit, right?
Absolutely.
Then she takes she has this little warm bag. It's like a little warmy bag, right, that she uses every night. She go pops the motherfucker in the microwave, lets it sit for 90 seconds. It gets hot. She puts it in the bed. I'm already thinking in my head, shit's not going down. Next thing you know, I get in the bed, boom. I put on the TV just to see what the feeling look like. I might pop on the TV just to watch, just to catch up on a little bit of Sports Center, right? Next thing you know, mouth wide open, eyes closed. I'm like, God damn. She sleep instantly. Like,
you already know. That's why you should take the TV out of the room. If you wouldn't turn the TV on, things would happen a little bit quicker. But the second you turn that TV on,
you already got your sweats on. You already got your sweats on.
Those can come off. That's not the
I know,
problem.
but I don't want sweats on. Like, I don't know why you put the sweats on.
Okay, so if I didn't put sweats on, you wouldn't have turned Sports Center on? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe not. You're not giving me nothing to look at but some sweats.
Doubt it. Okay.
So what I'm trying to tell you, fellas, sometimes you have to secure the bag first and just have sex before y'all go to date night, so you know for sure that you've got your money's worth that you're about to spend on the date. So
I think that's a great thing, because I am very tired afterwards.
I know you be hyped though, but you be get a little liquor and you get a little hype, but then you get home and you're tired. So I think that you should also definitely make when you go on date night, make sex a priority. I think that sex definitely has to be a priority in these relationships. And people have all these numbers that they say, oh, you should do it
every other day, 3 times a week, or 4 times a week.
Blah, 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 blah. Nobody really knows what that number is, because everybody, like, my horny level changes monthly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yours changes monthly, mine changes monthly, mine changes weekly. I'm really good with I think I need about 4 times a week.
That's a lot, just FYI.
That's 4 times a week is not a lot.
It is.
For you people that are out there only having it once every 2 weeks with your spouse, you're fucking crazy.
Well, that's not. No, you just whatever works for them.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Their horny level might not be your horny level.
But y'all are crazy though. If y'all are only having sex with y'all spouse once,
if it works for you, boo boo.
Okay. It don't work for me. It never worked for me. But if it works for y'all to have sex with your spouse once every, week, 2 weeks, that's crazy.
I think again, no sex therapist, but I think a sex therapist would probably say it needs to happen more than that. Just for connection. And listen, I've said this before. I already know you turn into a different person come day 4. Day 4, you were like,
who's like holding out 4 days? Like, that's crazy to me.
Let me tell this funny story. So day 4, you turned into, because then here's what happens. You turn into a nightmare, and nobody wants to be around you because everything bothers you. So then I definitely don't want to do it that night, because you've been not nice the whole day. And it's like, and not like not nice, just like, for instance, this happened not that long ago. You were like picking all day. And I already knew what the situation was. So I was like, okay, it's day 4. So he's annoyed right now. And I know why he's annoyed. So I'm gonna let it slide. And then by the end you had been picking all day. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the night, I'm walking past him, probably with my warmie bag, because I'm ready to go to bed because I'm tired of you at this point. Mm-hmm. I'm like, And he goes, top ramen. And I was like, top ramen? What? He's like, you took all the top ramen out of the house, and I'm going to need some top ramen because that's what I like. And I'm like, I haven't bought top ramen in years, but you want to bring up top ramen right now.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
I did.
You want to bring up some top ramen right now because you have gone 4 days without sex. That's basically why we wanted to bring up top ramen.
But why would you make somebody that, why would y'all go, that's 4 days is crazy to me though.
Why are we talking about top ramen though? I feel like at that point, just be like,
that's a sidebar, like to get to the meat and
potatoes.
So
what you need to say is like, listen, let's go have sex instead of like
who's doing that communication?
Well, what? Okay, you don't even
I don't talk like that.
You don't have to say that, but you could like insinuate it, and you could like, let's go to the bedroom or however you want to get down. I'm just saying, you don't have to like be petty and talk about top ramen.
You're right. You're right.
I'm not gonna buy top ramen.
You're right.
So
let me ask y'all ladies this. This is a question for the ladies, and I guess men, you can chime in on this. Put this in the comments, however y'all feel about it. But like, tell me this, ladies: when your husband or boyfriend wants some oral sex, what is the correct way to ask for oral sex? Because y'all be tripping when because there's not like it's not a sexy name to say it. Like, it's either, if you got kids listening, plug their ears. Like, you only can say, can I get some head? Can I get a blowjob? You want to suck some dick? Like, can I, what I'm saying? Can I get a BJ?
Dude, that's a good.
Anytime I say any of those to you, you think it's the grossest shit in the world.
Well, you've never said, can I get a BJ?
Because I'm not.
When you just said it like that, I wasn't as offended.
I'm not that dude that says can I get a BJ? Like, I'm not even that dude. And you're so goofy. You'll be like, I don't want to make it peanut butter and jelly. You're thinking some retarded stuff like that. And just, I'm just saying. So women, ladies, please let me know what's the proper way to ask your spouse for some head.
I'm sure that some women out there are like, you just ask. I mean, I don't know.
You don't like, if I just ask, it's like I just said, the worst shit in the world to you.
Because it's not like, God, it's funny now that we're in, because there's like
if
some
I'm
things
driving in
like,
the car and I'll be like, yo, when we get on, can I get some head? You're like, what? I'm like, what am I supposed to say in that
that's
instant?
never when you do it. It's always like, and that's not even how you do it.
Oh my God.
I don't even know if I want to talk about this on here. So I'm just, it's the way you say it and then the tone that you say, and you're
tone, like
you're not
it's
reading the room. Like when you say that, I'm like in the middle of folding laundry and doing kids, and you're like, I'm like, no,
you're in the mood of you're
this?
folding laundry. I'm just asking, like, maybe later on tonight. Maybe I'm just putting suggestions in the air.
Maybe take into consideration what I'm doing, and if it's cooking, cleaning, washing, bathing, picking up dog this, dog that. The answer is a hard no.
I just need somebody to let me know what's the proper way.
Bring home some flowers and then be like,
you get flowers all the time. What are we talking about here? So I just need to know the proper way to ask for that type of thing. Like, what is that proper way to
You also got to check my sinuses too to make sure we're good.
I'm tired of that shit. Like, I need a better avenue to help me with that. That's just crazy to me, man, that nobody has the proper way. Is it an etiquette to how you need to say it?
If I was, yeah.
You tell me, what's the best way for me to say it to you?
I just told you.
I'm not going to say BJ. I'm definitely not saying that.
I don't know. Maybe we'll come up with a name for it that isn't so like, and maybe and for me, it sounds degrading in the way that you say.
What the fuck, man?
But it's not. It's just, I don't know. Women get judged. So if I'm just saying. So
women get, okay, we're moving on to next topic. Like, listen, man, relationship wise, man, like I told you, we're going to move on from that subject because she doesn't even know what the heck she's talking about.
It's just a longer conversation.
I had one of my friends, I guess not a friend, but they left a comment and they wanted to know, like, how do we navigate with like arguments and disagreements, or like when shit gets really like rough with us, like how do we navigate things? I think that people handle things way different. I feel me and my wife don't discuss our relationships when we're going through things with our in-laws. Meaning that if she is mad at me and I done some shit, because I've done a bunch of shit, I'm not perfect. Everybody knows that. But like if she's getting mad at me for doing some shit, she doesn't go tell her mom or her. She might mention a little bit to her mom, but like major stuff that we go through in our lives, she's not telling her friends and all that, because we're going to deal with it internally. And like if she did something to me or we have a problem with each other, I'm not going to go tell my mom. The reason why we decided to do that in our relationship is because we don't want like imagine if she told her, like, I did some crazy shit and she told her mom, and I go to Christmas and her mom looking at me sideways and her brother looking at me sideways. We don't want each other ever to have that type of feeling, so we don't. Your
parent or your brother or whoever always wants to defend you and make sure you're okay. So in a marriage, it's my responsibility. If you did something to me, if I choose to forgive you, that's on me. I don't need my family to have to choose to forgive you if something happened.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. And not only that, is they're not as forgiving. Let's just be real. When you're in a marriage, like, y'all are going to be the most forgiving people towards each other, and y'all are the two that are going to determine if you're going to continue to move forward and it's something you can get past, or if it's petty and it's fine, but whatever. But the more, in our opinion, the more you tell everyone else
your business,
the more they're going to get in your head and talk and and that's not what we need in this marriage. That's for sure.
But I think you should have somebody you can talk to, if it's a therapist or somebody that's, your one friend that that is gonna be not so judgmental and be like, Jenni, you were tripping that time. I don't think it was Dre. Or Dre,
right.
you were
sure.
fucked up. I don't think it was her that time. So you got to have that
sure.
one friend that's going to be
What up, Candace?
not judgmental like that towards you. You got to always have those type of guys and or those type of women in your life that, or I think it should be just one. I don't think it should be a bunch of them, but just one person that you can talk to that's going to give you.
You just have to be careful.
Sound good advice. But we if we're going through something, we're going to deal with it more internally than delegating it out to moms and dads and all that type of thing. We don't get people like that. We don't get nobody really involved in our stuff.
Right. But also one thing that's important, where I heard this, it was years ago. I was watching Dr. Phil and there was a lady on Dr. Phil whose husband now this is like major stuff, but her husband had been cheating for like 15 years, 20 years, long time. He had another woman and they were asking her how she got over it and past it and all this stuff. And she was like, I forgave him. And when I told him I forgive him, that meant I'm not going to rehash and open up and tell him that I forgive you, but then my actions aren't that I forgive you. So she was basically saying when I told him I forgave him, that meant I'm going to move on past this.
But there's a lot of people that say they forgive, but they still.
So that's what I was going to say.
Because that saying is I forgive, but don't forget
right.
type of deal.
So there's a forgive and a forget, but also but that stuck with me because it was like really truly, if you do forgive someone, you shouldn't get to just constantly bring it back up because that's
when you get in your feelings and shit.
Only when you're mad or upset or, but that doesn't mean that if they hurt you, you're not going to have feelings again about it that you have to process and deal with. It's just, I'm not going to come at you with it anymore. If I chose to forgive you, then I might have a therapist that I'm going to talk to when I'm angry or upset or whatever. It's just, and not to say it would never happen or you're never going to bring it up again, but that's the goal is if forgiveness happens, then forgiveness happens. That means we've worked through it. We've conversated about it. We've communicated. We know what the other one needs and doesn't need.
And I think we
trust that it's going to get fixed.
I think therapy is good. If people need to go to therapy, go to therapy.
Yeah,
we're never knock anybody that goes to therapy or they're, relationship wise and needs to get that extra eyes on the relationship and all those type of things.
Not just eyes, but I think what therapy
ears and
does.
just listen and all that. Yeah.
You can get it out in a safe spot for someone to then mediate it.
Yeah.
So especially really tricky situations where it's going to be an argument. There's a person there to be like, hold on. That's not what he or she said. This is what they said. What did you hear? Because a lot of times we get caught up on, that's not what I said. And you're like, but that's what I heard. But that's not what you said. You gotta break it down with another person to be able to really hear what the other person's saying.
For sure. And when me and her get into our spats or, 90% of the time it's me fucking up. So, I mean, just being honest, I'm not perfect, but I'm not really big on saying sorry. I think that I'm just not big on saying sorry. Because I think that change behavior proves how sorry you are. I don't think that saying I'm sorry all the time is the fix it all.
Sorry really doesn't matter.
Because sorry really doesn't really mean, to some people it means something, but I don't like saying sorry because I just think change behavior is what's gonna show that I'm sorry. And so I don't really say sorry much. I will say I was wrong for that or that was my bad. But sorry, I'm not really into saying, oh, I'm sorry or will you forgive me and all that bullshit. I just change your behavior. And I think that proves if, that you were sorry for what you did. Change behavior is how I feel. But I mean, some women need to hear you say I'm sorry.
And they might need to hear you're sorry, but if your actions don't change, sorry, what's the point?
Of saying it. Facts.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, you don't get to say sorry and then go back to doing exactly what you were doing in order for me to want you to say sorry. I mean, so in my opinion, in situations if you were mad and you said something you shouldn't have said, then I can see a sorry. But if it's a bigger thing and it's an action thing, actions speak louder than words.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure. So I agree with that.
Yeah. Another question we had come in. One of my boys was asking me. Well, I keep saying my boys, but I feel like everybody that leaves comments are y'all my people now. We like family. So they asked about phones and should your significant other be able to go through your phone, and how do y'all feel about those type of things? And just these devices, with IGs and DMs and I guess Snapchats and Facebook, just all the shit that's on these phones and shit. Like, how do y'all feel about like how do y'all navigate with going through phones and shit? I don't play this shit. Don't go through my phone. Don't touch my shit. But she can go through my phone anytime she wants to. She got the passcode. She got all that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't care if you go through my phone. She doesn't go through my phone. But if she wanted to, she could. There's only one caveat to going through my phone that I would never, ever in life play with. She could never, ever.
Who are you looking at?
I'm looking at the camera here. Okay. I'm going to look at her. So one caveat I got about this phone.
I already know what you're going to say.
No, you don't. She can never, ever
read your group messages.
God dang right. You can never read the group text messages.
I don't give a dang what you
let me get this out real quick. Only because I would never in life put any of my boys' personal business in jeopardy with, I'm not saying that you're going to go and tell, but we don't do that pillow talking like that about any of my friends and what we talk about in those group chats. So, because sometimes in these group chats, we talk about football, basketball, we talk about life shit, we talk about shit that they might be going through their marriage that we all giving advice on. We're just talking about a lot of stuff that I don't think that your significant other needs to be looking at, because I don't want you to ever view any of my friends in a different light. So one thing that she can never, ever in life do is
no desire to look
read my group messaging. Like I got a few group chats with my boys, what I'm saying, closer than other. I got a few group chats that I'm in, and she can read every message in my damn phone, just not the ones that I have a group chat with my boys with, because I want to keep their personal business. And as a man, I think you should tell your wife that too, to respect the group chat.
I listen, if y'all are out there just digging through each other's phones, I think that's
crazy. I'm just saying, yeah, for sure. If you're going through phones anyway, you shouldn't be going through each other's phones anyway. But also, if you're going through phones
because you're suspicious or nosy, I mean, I don't know, then you're gonna find something that you don't like. Because if you're going in with a mentality of something's wrong, I feel like you can always find something wrong, because your mind can play tricks on you. What was I just talking about the other day about the mind? Do you remember that?
I don't. I only listen to 60% of what you say.
It's like when like that documentary we watched where the girl. What was that documentary that we just watched with the girl that was? They stole her. They kidnapped her from her house, from the boyfriend's house. But the cops.
Oh yeah.
Like
something I understand.
They already had in their head what they thought happened.
Yeah.
Even though it was true, they came and took her.
Mm-hmm.
She had to then prove.
Yeah.
And they came at her as if she was faking it, because in their mind, that's what they already knew.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go into something and like, I already know this, and then you're going to find what it is that you think you already know. And it's going to turn into something that, probably never was. That's how I look at it. But yeah, I don't have any desire to look through your phone.
I've never, in 14 years, I've never looked through a phone.
Like, but don't give me a reason.
Like, I don't even go through a phone. Like, I don't even go through the phone. I don't even play the phone stuff. Like, whatever.
I think it's a trust thing.
Yeah, like it is what it is. We're going to pause the conversation right here. We're going to pick up next week. Thank y'all for tuning in to episode 5. We will continue this conversation next week. Thank you.